Here's what we got going on for today. I pulled down our dirty blanket here. I'm talking like that thing was pretty nasty. This is pretty nasty too. Our mirror. Haven't seen that door in a while, so you know, we got this washer down here. I talked to the neighbor a little bit and I said, hey man, what's it gonna take to maybe get that washer or whatever? I did a video yesterday, you know, kind of clowning around. Gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Like I said, I want to do an outside washer dryer room. It would be a lot for me to do it, you know, to get the water line like 3 feet down and plumbed in from the hot water tank. You know, a lot of people might say skank, but you know, if I was in Alaska, you know, it would be a baller. But you know, we're not in Alaska, we're in America. Whatever, it's still America, but whatever. We got the dryer or the washer out here. I've got it up on the pallet. Thank goodness that Carl's nice enough to either let us borrow it or let us have it. He said he just wanted to give it away, but the wife said whatever. It's doing good for what we need to do it. I got my blanket in there. You know, I miss a big washer dryer. You can do some heavier denim stuff. I said I'd bring you back whenever we were tying up the tomato plants. Now last night we had a pretty good, or yesterday we had a pretty good rainstorm. Dogs could have got over there or anything. They tried to shoot through there. And I got busy doing that, so I couldn't, you know, I got to hook all that up. I had a little bit of a water leak, trying to get that tied enough, whatever it was. Excuses, obviously. But hopefully we can get out here and work on the truck some today too. I really want to get back to getting that done. Hopefully we can get something for the ticks today. Pretty rough, pretty rough. I got to pick all that out, the weeds and stuff, to keep that kind of cleaned up. Out of gas on the mower. But with these big marigolds, I think the rain pulled them down. So starting them early is maybe not so great. I even thought about cutting them back some, maybe cut way back. I don't know. The blooms look good, but you can see it laid the plants over. We did tie all this front up, and I doubled up the string so it wouldn't break, and then the back side looked good enough. I was like, well, you know, good enough. I picked these plants out pretty clean. You know, I picked them pretty heavy, pretty heavy. You know, they're starting to throw a lot of the fruits. You know, they're getting ready to turn ripe on the vine. Here and there. And, you know, we got a couple more blooms on our orange plant here. You know, it looks kind of scabby. But I'm going to try to get out here and tie this backside up, and hopefully we can get a little more out of these tomato plants. But to be honest with you, I think they're just about done. I don't see much more happening. Like I say, they usually take a dive. You got to have like 2-3 rotations if you want tomatoes. But man, you know, I really don't eat that many. That one flush is good enough for me. Just a few is good enough for me. I had a bunch of plants, and that's why it happens. You got to do more than you need, usually, to get something. We got something. The little ones are great, but I like a bigger slicing tomato, something you can... It's got a different taste for me. I like a couple different varieties when I do them. But they seem like they're all starting to turn ripe pretty quick. I had to give another bucket to Carl there, but you know, next year I might plant these plants a little bit later. Man, they're really nice when they're small like that. I planted them early and they didn't get as big, but you know, I have been working on that little spot for a while, like 5 years. So I've added fertilizer and micro fungi and stuff like that. Yep, there we go. See there? They're already getting on me. As far as whatever. And I need to finish up with some of these heavy denim items. You know, I got some jackets and stuff I need to wash too. Really only going to have about 2 months before, you know, it's done deal on anything. You know, you're not going to be able to have a washer outside. So I got to get something. But man, Look at that. That's about beautiful. I didn't think they'd get that big. But that right there is picture perfect. I need to clean out the weeds and stuff, but I'm going to do that. Hopefully I can get something that'll keep the ticks at bay. They're just, right there's another one already. They're that tough right now. And you know, with my dad's wife having her problems with having a tick bite, and you know, it's not like I get sick, get some medicine, whatever. It's a lifetime thing. It changes your body or something. But we did pick it out pretty good. We done all we can do. I'm gonna try to get those tied back up. It's too hot out here right now. You know, it's only gonna be 85, but still, I don't know. I can't do it. It'll be later on this evening. Like I said, I want to work on the truck a little bit, try to get that motor on down some to where I can get it out pretty quick. I got that motor plate fitting up pretty decent. Everything's going to be the way it needs to be. I got to get that torque or that bell housing off, so it might take a little while to get enough money up to get that socket, the T50 Plus. It's cheap, but you know, broke. You know how it just stuff happens to where you got to take care of it and you wasn't anticipating, just like putting that stove in, you know. I didn't think it would be that much, but it is. Stuff's expensive. But I'm getting pretty tore up about this truck. You know, we get that motor down in there and should be able to drive that thing, hopefully soon. It took a while, you know. Like I say, got more time than got money, having health problems. But hopefully we can power through and get something done. Just doing stuff that we can keep plugging along, you know, do this, do that, whatever. That thing's pretty loud. But you know, appreciated it up on a pallet. And we're just going to keep doing what we can do. I told you to bring it back. We're still going to have to bring it back one more time. I had it good enough, and I walk out here this morning and they're laying on the ground like that, so I still got to tie it up again right here because some of that, you know, it's way up there. I was going to tie it to the back and see if I could lean it over and just kind of have it just kind of lean over. You know, they get so tall, you just lean them over. You know, it's a vine basically. But that's what we got going on. And we're just going to try to keep doing what we're doing, plugging along. Hopefully tomorrow brings a better day is the way I look at it. I hope everybody had a great weekend.